everybody, this is Ginger. This is Ginger's Chat Show, and today's Monday, October 20th. And first of all, the Mariners are going to be playing Game 7 tonight in Toronto, and so I hope they win and go on to the World Series. We're this close to the World Series to be in there. LA is already there. And so, if they win the World Series, it'll be, or win, if, let me try again. If Seattle wins this championship and they go to the World Series, this is going to be the battle of the West Coast. Pretty much. So, anyway, I hope all is well. I know there's a lot of storms going on. End of this week, we'll be dealing with the atmospheric storm, or atmospheric river, which is a lot of rain. We had some storms move in over the weekend, yesterday and Saturday, up in the Duvall area, which is way north of me. They had thunderstorms and had indications of tornado. It looked pretty nasty. So we cringe when that happens. Normally tornadoes happen down here in southern Washington or over here near Gig Harbor, up that way. So it depends on the trajectory and the conditions and everything. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the No King protests that happened over the weekend on Saturday. Over 7 million plus people participated in the protests. And I mean, it was like New York, Chicago, the big major cities, medium-sized towns, small towns. They had one down here in Lakewood. But with the thunderstorms popping around, there was a lot of concern about that, because you don't want to be out in the middle of an electrical storm. But they did it anyway. It was like 2 hours. They didn't want to have a long, drawn-out process. It was like a couple hours. But it was enough to put pressure on Congress and pressure on Taco Downing. They were also going to do a live fire exercise into Camp Pendleton, demonstration. And Vance was there and Higgs was there. Well, you don't do live fire over I-5, okay? And there was already some damage to some vehicles that were hit by shrapnel, especially Highway Patrol. Governor Newsom ordered I-5 along that stretch to be shut down. He did not want any cars running in there. Vance was trying to override him and says, no, I am bound by Constitution to serve and protect the people. And he told him, he says, you don't do live fire exercises here. But anyway, there was like one firing or something like that, and that was it. Down in Venezuela, where Trump is causing problems down there, he's violating international law, is what he's doing, okay? And not following rules, okay? Venezuela is going, you know, we can fire back. And reason why Trump is doing this, claiming many of these boats are drug boats and everything else. But how do you really know? Do you have like advanced intel? Probably not. He probably didn't even have the CIA check it out or anything. Trump's an idiot. He's stupid. Okay. And of course, the GOP and MAGA were saying, oh, well, these protests are the Hate America protests. I said, no, it's not. Did you read the signs? They love America. I love America. I love my country. I was born here. I was raised here. And do they understand? No, they're too obtuse to understand. Uh, these guys put out these lies and misinformation. They're going to get themselves killed as well if they're not careful. And the old adage, you know what happens to blackmailers and people that cause problems like this? Eventually they get done in. And you notice majority of the shootings and assassinations is done by MAGA/GOP idiots. I mean the radical side, super radical side. Look what happened, of course, when Trump got shot at last summer, last year, when he was doing his campaign. Well, that was by a radical right GOP supporter. Oh, well, they're trying to say no, it's not. It's Democratic side. So I suggest to the legacy TV corporations, start checking your facts. Okay? Start doing things properly. And stop condoning all these lies that happen and occur. The protests happen, and why are you avoiding covering your protests when it could help your ratings? You ever wondered why your ratings are so low? Because of your stupidity. Okay? They're being legacy thing are being stupid. Now, the only one that's not that the only one other corporation or TV media corporation that is covering this is CNN. They didn't bow to Takodani. They're just giving him, say, hey, we speak the truth here. So I do watch CNN once in a while when they come up. So the No King protest is a good thing, and I hope they do more of these. I really do. And I think it's so funny to watch all those in costume. Cause hey, this is perfect. This is just before Halloween, right? Maybe Takodani is an alien. So we need to push on this. We need to yell at Congress and say, no, you need to start, Congress, you need to start doing your job. You are to uphold and protect the Constitution. You're not doing it. So why are so many of you are afraid of Takodani? He's being a bully. And bullies are whiny little people. I never liked bullies. Matter of fact, I hate bullies. Okay? And Trump is one of them. And the guy has no manners whatsoever. Okay? Let's see, what else? King's protests, let's see. What other thing? Oh, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the so-called Speaker of the House, is in trouble. Okay, people are really pushing on him, saying, "Hey, open up the government." Both the Senate and the House need to open up the government, get things back on track, hire everybody back, push back on Trump, impeach him, because according to the Constitution on impeachment, everybody goes. President, the cabinet, everybody. They all go. Well, the president, the vice president, everybody, they get pushed out the door. We need a new president. We need new professional people. I'm going to keep saying this, okay? It needs to be pushed. And I'm tired of seeing my fellow citizens being endangered. We don't need the stress. We really don't. We need to push back. And, I think Trump and company should be put on a boat and sent out to sea, and their citizenships should be yanked. Well, what about their families? Well, I think the cabinet secretaries need to really think hard about supporting Trump. They need, there's not a peep out of them, any of them, except for Higgs. He's the kind of guy like Trump that yearns for attention, okay? Well, he needs to be ignored. Higgs does not know a darn thing about how the military works whatsoever. They said, well, he served in the National Guard. Well, maybe 2 years, but you have to have a lot more experience than that, okay? I know a number of people that served 30 or more years in the armed forces, especially in the officer level that served that long. Because things are changing rapidly all the time. Oh, another thing too happened this morning. Last thing on the list here. Amazon warehouse services that handle cloud services and everything, they went down this morning, okay? I checked on my Amazon site there, on the webpage. They're still having issues in some areas. So wait until they hopefully get it fixed and back up. Somehow it got hacked into. How that happened, I don't know. But, I don't like hackers. And they also need to put stronger teeth in the internet industry. You don't sell information, period. You don't buy information, period. And in other words, there needs to be a new sheriff in town, more than anything. I don't condone running over people's rights, but I don't condone companies that sit there and hunt for information and everything else. And scammers. Scammers need to be put out of business. So, there needs to be a non-cabinet position to oversee all this. I mean, really have strict protocols on internet, going after scammers, going after hackers, and everything else. We need to push back on these guys. Now, there are some companies that help you take information off the internet, okay? The only time you ever give out information if you're on a subscription type thing where you, like, for example, you want to buy items on Amazon. Okay, the information's right there. And they keep it secure. What I'm talking about is when companies that buy and sell information, they're the ones that need to be put out of business. And if they don't like hearing that, well, that's just tough. They should think through their actions, rethink it, or anything. Because how would they like it if it was done to them? Okay. Okay, let me check something here. Let me check my calendar. Um, um, oh, hopefully on Wednesday we get our elevator back in my apartment complex. It's supposed to be an inspection on Wednesday, hopefully, or inspection tomorrow, one or the other. So let's hope that happens. Okay, I will see you at 1 o'clock on Wednesday on October 22nd. Oh, come on. There we go. My computer wasn't cooperating. I'll see you at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. And we'll discuss everything. Keep an eye on the news, everything that's going on. And keep pushing, keep bugging. Keep trolling Trump. And troll Congress and remind them who they work for, which is you and me. Say, we're the boss. If you're not going to do your job, you're out the door. So, and those that sit there and stick their head in the sand go, oh, well, you're preaching to the choir. No, you have the power too to push back. Don't stick your head in the sand. Go after them. Okay? Push back. And be sure to vote for the off-year election. So anyway, I will see you guys on Wednesday. I will post this on my YouTube channel. I need more subscribers. Be sure to share. I don't mind you sharing. And take care, stay safe. Today, go Mariners. And I will see you later. Okay? Love to all. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.